Hey everyone. So today we're going to be giving a session on our experiences with Red Hat OpenShift in the corporate world. And with me, I've got Mike Ashley Cedric. So just to give an introduction for ourselves, I'm Osama and Tahir, and I'm currently doing engineering doctorate from Eindhoven University of Technology. You can use this QR code to follow my LinkedIn, and with me, I've got Mike Ashley Cedric. So, Mike,
So, hi guys, my name is Mike Ashley Cedric, and I've been working at IBM for the past 5 years as a software engineer. And today I will be sharing my experience of working with Red Hat OpenShift with you guys. And now onwards, I would like to Osama give you guys a brief introduction on what Red Hat OpenShift really is.
yes,
Osama?
thanks, Mike. So, over here, coming to the point that what is OpenShift actually is. You might have seen this word, let's say, on the internet. You have seen it on Google, along with that, you might have seen this logo as well. But just to identify that what OpenShift is actually, so if you just Google it and you go to Wikipedia, over there you're gonna see this definition that Red Hat OpenShift is a cloud application platform that is powered by Kubernetes to modernize, deploy, run, and manage application. So of course, because this is one of the product by Red Hat, so that's why it's managed by Red Hat itself. And this is the whole definition you're going to find about OpenShift. And let's go like what if I see the essence of OpenShift, what I actually can understand from that. And I see it as like the first point which comes to my mind is simplicity, because there are so many documentation that is provided by Red Hat. A lot of processes and features actually look simple, and while just following those documentation, you can uh, occupy or use those processes and make your application or system much better. So this is the first point which I feel is the simplicity. And what about you, Mike? Do you feel any essence of OpenShift when I say,
Yeah, so I'd like to discuss the support aspect of Red Hat OpenShift. Like OpenShift offers enterprise level support and maintenance services, making it a preferred choice for organizations seeking comprehensive support. On the other hand, if you are going to choose Kubernetes, it being open source relies on community support, with some vendors offering commercial support packages. So that's the differentiation between using Red Hat OpenShift and Kubernetes. So uh, for uh, for Red Hat OpenShift, you have dedicated support from themselves, and it basically that's how it differentiates from Kubernetes itself. So yeah.
yeah. So thanks a lot for the support. And coming to the security, because OpenShift is one of the core value is the security, and there are a lot of features provided by Red Hat to make sure that wherever you deploy this OpenShift, it makes everything secure enough. And that is why there are certain features like RBAC, which I am going to come later, and we're going to be discussing those security features. Um, Coming to this part, that what does actually OpenShift provides you? We have been discussing the essence and the core values of OpenShift, but of course, because we are all developers here at this time, we need to understand that what feature it provides and what type of feature we can use it in our applications. So the first thing which I'm gonna go through is if you have an application and you want to make sure that it can be easily deployed to OpenShift as an image, you can use one of the feature provided by OpenShift, that is source to image. And what it does, what it provides is like it makes everything simple and automated. The second point, which I will gonna come to, is the OpenShift templates. And I know, like I have used OpenShift a couple of times, and even Kubernetes. And one of the most difficult thing which I feel is writing those YAML, and while you're making those deployment configurations from start to end, it always a pain. And but OpenShift over here actually gives you some pre-made templates that you can use it in your application while deployment. And the third thing is the security part. If you guys remember, I did mention about role-based access control. And in this role-based access control, certain people have access depending upon their role. So this is like one of the key feature that I, as a developer, have been using a lot whenever I wanted to get access to OpenShift environment. One fact over here that as per one of the report by State Community Security, it says that there are 93% of individuals and responded that they have at least faced one security incident in their community's environment in last 12 months, which is a year. So, while so many companies are moving towards OpenShift, there is always going to be a perspective regarding security, that how you can make your application secure enough. Coming to a use case. So the area where we were actually working on, our stakeholder had some requirements, and these requirements over here, I've put it as more like a use case. And one of the key use case, I would say, I'm just going to be defining my stakeholder at that time where I was using OpenShift, and one of the requirement was data sensitivity, because when you're dealing with customer data, you need to make sure that only certain people has access to the data and also the code as well. So what it does, it actually helps you to maintain the customer's trust, because if things gonna mess up, the first thing which gonna be dented is your customer trust. The second is the security risk. A lot of time when the things are on the cloud, there are some security risk uh, along with that as well. There can be like cyber threats or anything can possible. So one of the key requirement that was given by our stakeholder was the security risk, that make sure that that application or system provide mitigation for any type of security risk. And the third one was on-site data centers, because we were dealing with customers data at that time for our stakeholders. We needed to make sure that that data storage is actually compliance against the government, and where it needed was it needed to be on site while providing performance and low latency along the way. So coming to the challenges part, and my friend over here at over here from IBM, Mike, gonna be mentioning about the challenges which we actually faced during our development.
Yeah, so guys, obviously when once we were deploying applications on Red Hat OpenShift, we did encounter some challenges, and some of the challenges were basically the initial setup and configuration. It can get a little bit complex, because if you're not coming from a background of container orchestration platforms, or if you've never used Kubernetes and you don't know how to instantiate a pod or instantiate a cluster, or you don't know about HPA, you don't know about auto scaling. So these concepts, you need to know these concepts before you initially set up and configure the OpenShift cluster and pods. So that's one thing that we faced when once we were coming to this platform itself. And the other issue that we faced was in certain peak hours during the day, we often and seldom observed that the performance of our application decreased. So and that is one issue that we encountered. And in the next slide, Osama will tell you how we actually resolve this particular problem and issue using HPA and autoscaler. And the third issue that we actually faced was, since we were dealing the customer was dealing with basically private information of their customers, and we were also dealing with financial information of those customers. So data security was one of our biggest challenges. And to resolve those issues, we did look at the options that we had, like encryption and etc. Right. So this was one of the issues that we encountered, where we were putting our application to basically Red Hat OpenShift. And one of the other challenges that we actually faced was regarding storage. So storage across the hybrid cloud environment, it can be difficult, and there were a few out of the box products or tools that provide storage management in this type of environment. So we went with the solution that best fit our environment, and you guys can choose whatever suits you and your application. And secondly, applying an individual applications pattern to other applications doesn't always work. So what works for me would probably not work for you. So due to the different business requirements that each one of us has. So these were some of the challenges that we encountered, and in the next slide, Osama will tell you how we resolved these challenges.
So I will be sharing few of the things that Mike mentioned. Some of the challenges remained. We couldn't find any solution, and we have to, go through a contact Red Hat OpenShift, and they actually provided us with support. And as Mike mentioned before, Red Hat team has been really great. Great for us. They provide like support for 24/7 during the time of escalation whenever there used to be certain demand, and we felt that our application performance has lowered. We used to have contact with Red Hat team at the same time, and they provided us with a lot of good information that help us to manage our application in both of scalability, and also at the same time, if there are any issues, they also help us along that thing as well. Coming to the scalability part, so there are certain tools provided by Red Hat OpenShift, and which is one of them is HPA. So just in case if there is a demand in your of your application, and you feel that your performance has lowered, you can of course increase the number of pods, and but sometimes you don't know that when that demand's gonna struck to you. So if you use this HPA option, what it does that it actually automatically scales your application as per the demand. And the third thing, coming to the security part, there were certain um, tools, and environment itself was secure and compliant, uh, to make sure that our application is deployed over there. There are some practices such as role-based access control, that only certain people have access to the application and the system and the deployment. So we use this option as one of our primary thing for security and compliances. Coming to the personal perspective, and while coming to this personal perspective, I will share over here this guy. So this guy, you can see that there are computers along this person, and there is also a cloud, and on the right side there is a painting. So each instance over here actually provides a perspective. And for number of computers, you can see there are a lot of computers. So for me, at least working in an enterprise environment, I felt that I had more ways to manage my things on the cloud, and this is indeed shown by number of computers. And those computers are of course connected with the cloud, and this actually showed that I had more connection with the things with what I was doing that time. And on the right side, there is a painting, and that painting actually indicates creativity, because everything was documented and well documented. I felt that it was more easier and simpler to make something and use my imagination from just going through those documentation. So my friend Mike, will you gonna be sharing your perspective as well?
Yeah, sure. So, Sama, I don't have a fancy image
Mm-hmm.
like you just shared regarding my perspective. So, but I'm going to share my perspective as a developer who used the OpenShift platform to deploy their applications, right? So I felt while I deployed my applications on Reddit, I felt that it basically enhances and expands the developer horizon to focus on product development without bothering about underlying infrastructure. So I was not aware of the infrastructure that we were using, because that is something that was dealt by the architect itself. So I was not aware of the infrastructure itself. I was just given the opportunity to deploy my application. So that was one task that was mine, right? So OpenShift Container Platform offers seamless deployment on premises. You can do deployment on premises. You can do deployment on public and private cloud without any hassle. So there is no need to be self-aware and learned on Kubernetes. So it's not like you have to be pro on Kubernetes in order to deploy your applications on Red Hat OpenShift. So The design of OpenShift is such that a developer deploy applications on Kubernetes without ramping up on Kubernetes itself. So you don't have to learn Kubernetes from scratch in order to deploy your application seamlessly on the container platform. So if you're someone who's just a beginner, you can just get started with Red Hat OpenShift in no time. So
Yeah.
the other I think the benefit that I gained was that Red Hat OpenShift allows us to automate the process of build deployment, so we can achieve CI/CD objectives through that, and it offers developers efficient, easy to use tools for building and releasing software. So these were some of my perspective from a developer perspective
Mhm.
of using Red Hat OpenShift platform. So yeah, uh, you
Yeah.
can go ahead. Yeah.
Thanks a lot for sharing your perspective. And one more fact over here that a lot of applications are being moved to cloud environment, and a lot of enterprises are taking part in this action. So more than 1,000 applications, enterprises across have adopted Red Hat OpenShift at the moment. So coming to the conclusion, and we had a talk regarding different key points. This included features that what type of OpenShift provided. We also explored OpenShift as well. We went through some use cases that would be. We went through a use case and where actually OpenShift would be perfect. We went through some challenges that we actually faced and how OpenShift uh, provided us with support. So there are more things on this slide deck as well, which I'm going to be sharing in a while. But if you guys need to have a talk or you need to have a discussion with us, you can also reach us on LinkedIn. The last thing which I will gonna share is a small demonstration that how you can set up your OpenShift sandbox environment, and if you wanna follow it, you can use it through an article that I have mentioned it as a QR code. So you can just use that QR code, and it will gonna take you to this article. And coming to the last point, which is a small demonstration.
Shown a getting started page, and while being on this page you can learn more about the containers and managing OpenShift. So you have to click on try Red Hat OpenShift in our free developer sandbox button, and after clicking on it you will be shown Red Hat account login page. If you don't have a Red Hat account, I will suggest you to make one, and you can do this while clicking on this link. So while being on this link, you will be asked username, your name, your address, um, your phone number, and you will also be asked to create a password as well. So once your account is created, you can use that information that includes either email or your username to log in. And of course, it's going to be asking for a password as well. So once you are logged in to your Red Hat account, you will be shown hybrid cloud console screen. And while being over here, you have to click on developer sandbox. This will actually give you multiple options, but you have to click on Red Hat OpenShift because this demonstration is focused on OpenShift. So I'm gonna launch this, and once it's launched, it's gonna open a new tab. I will be logging in as a dev sandbox, and then I will be shown OpenShift platform. This platform is actually running on Red Hat dedicated cluster. And while being over here, I can work or play around and at the same time learn as a developer or as an administrator. So in administrator, you can see I have a project. I can see the ports or create some. And while being as a developer, I can either create pipelines, or look upon the project details. So there are multiple options available over here. And if you're a developer and you want to log in to this platform through through command line, OpenShift also provide you that option as well. So what you have to do is you have to click this and you can just copy this command, login command. And if you want to use it, you need to make sure that you have OpenShift command line interface installed in your machine. And I have actually gone through that step on my article.
I think I was actually mute before. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach us on LinkedIn. And that's pretty much it. Have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.